Oh hey, hello there. What brings you here? What was that? You wanted to know more about the heavens? Oh, I see. You wanted to know more about the Astrologian job in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, sure, I can help you with that. This video is exactly for that. In this video, I will go through each spell in Astrologian's book from level 1 to level 60 and explain exactly what they do and how and when to use them. The reason I will go only till level 60 because I'm assuming most of you will be in free trial. And even if you are not, you will still have to go through the leveling process. With that, let's get started. First thing is first, let's see how to even get Astrologian job. For that, you will have to finish a Rem Reborn post MSQ and get started with Heavensward main scenario questline. After you finish the very first quest, Welcome to Ishgard, you will be able to get the quest from this NPC right here. Once you finish the side quest, you will have access to Astrologian job. And you will start from level 30, so that's kind of fun. Alright, before we go into Astrologian spells, let's quickly go over the role spells. Repose will put the target to sleep. It has cast time, so you probably won't be using it too much. Isuna is an important one, as it removes debuffs from the target. Any debuff like poison, terror, doom with a bar over them can be removed using Isuna. Lucid Dream is also very important, as it gives you a regen boost to your MP. So try using it whenever you are halfway in your MP. Swiftcast makes your next spell to be instant. You can combine it with your Resurrection spell to res the dead target instantly, as Resurrection does have a long cast time. Surecast makes you immune to knockbacks, so you can keep casting or just don't get pushed off the incoming damage. Rescue is basically a pull ability. You can pull a friendly target to you. You can save them from dying or from taking damage if they got themselves into trouble. Now the role spells are out of the way, let's finally get into Astrologian spells. First spell is Malefic. It is a single target damaging spell with a cast time. Benefic is a single target healing spell with a cast time. For now, this along with another spell will be your main healing spell. Combust is your single target instant cast dot. Dot stands for damage over time. It will do damage on the target for a certain amount of time. Lightspeed is a buff spell. It reduces cast time of your spells by 2.5 seconds for next 15 seconds. But as all of your spells has smaller cast time than 2.5 seconds, well, except Ascend, which is your Resurrection spell, it basically means for next 15 seconds all your spells will be instacast. Helios is your AoE healing spell with a cast time. AoE stands for Area of Effect. It will heal you and everyone around you at a certain range. Essential Dignity is a instant healing spell. It has a 40-second cooldown and its potency increases compared to how low the target may be. So better use it while the target is below 50% HP, but it gets its highest potency when the target is at 30% HP. Benefic 2 is not an evolved Benefic, it's a separate spell. Even though it works similar to Benefic, it just heals you a bit more for a bit more MP cost. And now, we are getting into the Astrologian gambling part. This is what makes Astro different from White Mage. While White Mage is a pure healer, Astrologian is a support healer. It means it buffs their party member to do more damage while keeping them alive. And you buff your party using your cards. And what kind of card you will be using depends on your luck. But there are only 6 types of them, which belongs to 2 different categories. The first category buff close range melee DPS, and the other one is for range DPS. And the most simple way to remember them is with this one card, which is a blue pot. Just remember, this one blue buff is for long range. The other blue cards along with the sun buffs melee DPS. And the rest of them are for range DPS. Well, at least this is how I remember them. But don't worry about this too much though, as even if you do put the wrong cards on the party member, they will still get a minor damage buff, just not to its full potency. Now there's another 3 category where these same 6 cards are divided again, but it's at level 50, so I will talk about that in a bit, so you don't get confused. Now the draw spell will get you a random card among those 6 cards, and to apply them on a player, use play, and undraw will just put the card back in your deck. You won't be using it that much, or at least I don't, because any buff is better than no buff, as draw does have a 30-second cooldown. At level 40, you will get another spell that will allow you to redraw, which is called literally redraw, so that will help you a little with that RNG. But we're jumping ahead. At level 34, you will get aspect benefit. It's a regen spell with a little instant heal. This will become your bread and butter spell, as at level 42, you will get aspected Helios. It's an AoE regen spell with a bit of heal on the finish of cast. And when you combine these two, you will be healing enough to keep the tank alive, so you won't have to cast Benefic or Helios at all to heal. Or at least not as much as before. So keep these 2 spells on the tank all the time. Trust me, this will make both your life and the tank's life a lot better. Later on this video, I will be referring these two together as a Spectre spell. And Gravity is an AoE damaging spell with a cast time, and you will cast it on the target, so you won't have to get close and personal to do AoE damage like the other healers. At 46, Combust will evolve into Combust 2. Synastry makes a link with the target, so if you cast a single target spell on someone else to heal, the target linked will also receive the heal. I don't really find it that much useful in normal dungeon, as the tank usually holds the aggro, but it can come in real handy in normal raids where you will have 2 tanks. Deviation is your another support spell. It buffs everyone's DPS by 6% around you. It has a 2-minute cooldown, so use it whenever you're in combat or at the start of boss fights. Now before we get into the next level 50 spell, let's talk about the other 3 categories your cards are divided into. The categories are Solar, Lunar, and Celestial. Solar has a sun sign, Lunar has a moon sign, and Celestial, I assume, is just a star sign. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have any way for you to help you remember which belongs to which category, so you will just have to get used to it. But you can just look at the card to see which category it belongs to. But why do you need these categories? Well, because of your next spell. Depending on which category of card you use, you will get one of those signs. You can have 3 at once. Once you have 3 signs, you will be able to use the next spell called Astrologian. And what's the point of having 3 signs? Well, depending on how many types of sign you have, you will get different kinds of buff from Astrologian. You can read the buffs on your own, but the TLDR is if you have 3 same signs, you will gradually restore your MP. If you have 2 different type of signs, you will gradually restore your MP, and it will reduce your cast time by 10%. If you have 3 different type of card, you will gradually restore MP, reduce your cast time by 10%, and will do 5% more damage and healing from your spells. So your target should be to get 3 different types of sign, but as it depends on your luck, you really can't rely on getting all 3 buffs from Astrologian all the time. Also, the fact that it has a low duration doesn't really allow you to rely on it that much. At level 54, your Malefic will evolve into Malefic 2. At level 58, you will get Collective Unconscious. Now, it's an instant damage reduction spell, but as soon as you do literally anything, even turn, it will break it. But it also has regen effect for next 15 seconds, so you can use it just for the regen on the tank during mob fights, or use it for both when there's a stack marker during a boss fight. And finally, Celestial Opposition. It's an instant AoE heal with a regen effect similar to Collective Unconscious. Now, with the spell introduction out of the way, let's get to dungeon examples, starting with level 30 dungeon. At the start, while the tank is pulling, put your combust dot on as many targets as possible while pulling. Use Benefic or Benefic 2 depending on how much healing needed. If the tank is doing big pulls, use light speed so you can cast instant heals, and try to draw one card before you start running, but don't apply it until you are in combat. For now, you will just get the more time out of it, but later on you will get the signs for applying the cards in combat. So better practice it from now. And I understand, it might feel overwhelming at the start. Putting dots, heal, and applying cards at the same time, but you will get used to it. And hey, it is your decision to play Astrologian. And as I said, don't worry too much about applying right cards on the right party members. That much, at least not yet, so just take your time. And don't panic. Trust me, that is the trick. Do not panic. If you can't handle big pulls yet, let the tank know that you are still learning and ask him to take it slow. Trust me, they will listen, as it's already hard to get a healer in random queues. Moving on to level 40 dungeon. But how weird the sync system is, and you gaining a spell at level 42, it will be more like a level 42 demonstration. So now that you have access to both Aspected Benefic and Aspected Helios, they will become your main healing spell. So before you start running, draw a card in your hand, cast Aspected spells on the tank, and keep running beside the tank while putting Combust Dot on as many mobs as you can. Don't forget to apply the cards on the respective party members as soon as you are in combat. When you're done pulling, reapply Aspected spells, use a light speed if necessary, and depending on if the tank still needs heal, either cast your healing spell or Malefic. Try to do as much damage as possible without endangering wipe. And around this level you will be chilling because you still don't have any AoE spells, so all you will be doing is putting dot and heal, and occasionally doing damage, as quite a bit of your damage comes from your cards and by other party members. And for boss fights, just keep the Aspected spells on the tank and focus on buffing the team and doing as much damage as possible. Now, moving on to level 50, as you will get quite a few spells, your rotation will change a bit. So the start will be the same. Cast both Aspected spells on the tank, draw a card, and start running, while putting Combust Dot on as many as possible and applying your cards on your party members. When done pulling the first big pack of mobs, use Light Speed and recast both Aspected spells, apply if you have any other cards left, and then start spamming Gravity and repeat. Whenever your card is available, apply it. When you have 3 signs available, again, you should be aiming for 3 different signs, cast Astrodyne, as it does help, but the duration being so little, it's not so reliable. But that doesn't mean you can ignore it. For boss fight, start with Deviation, cast both Aspected spells on the tank, apply your cards, and start spamming Malefic. Use Light Speed if it's available, cause why not, as long as you keep your Aspected spells up, you really don't have to cast any other healing spell. So just focusing on buffing your party and on your own damage. Finally, at level 60. Honestly, nothing much changes from level 50 rotation. You will just be adding 2 more spells in your rotation, Collective Unconscious and Celestial Opposition. And given both of them only having 60-second cooldown, you should be able to use them on the same pull. Just not at the same time, if you want my suggestion. Instead, for mob pulls, at first use Collective Unconscious, not for its damage reduction properties necessarily, but for its regen. And when both regen from aspective spells and Collective Unconscious runs out, recast aspective spells and now use Celestial Opposition. All that during the same pull. Because of their relatively short cooldown, you will be able to do the same next pull. That's basically it. That's basically how you play Astrologian till level 60, of course. And that's about it for Astrologian job. You might have noticed I didn't talk about couple spells as in when to use them. The reason being they are mostly situational spells, so you can't really put them in a fixed rotation. So I will let you guys figure it out when it's best to use them. And the only thing that is bad about the class is that you rely a lot on your cards for your support. And sometimes in dungeons, you will only get melee DPS or range DPS and you might only get the opposite cards. So it can piss you off, but trust me, you're not the only one. The RNG in this game is worse than Genshin. And yeah, that's the only thing that's a pain. I enjoy playing Astro every now and then, but it's also not my favorite healing class. Because of the reasons I mentioned earlier. No, my favorite healer is Sage. And I don't know if I'm going to make a Sage guide anytime soon as it's not part of the free trial, so I might just move on to the tanks for guide videos. Who knows, we'll see. Anywho, thanks for watching. If the video helped or you enjoyed, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel as it will motivate me more toward making this kind of videos. And I also do stream on Twitch and have a small Discord server. Links will be in the description. With that, I will see you guys next time. Until then, take care everyone.